Following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome into a Friday edition of Main Street Sports. Today, I'm Chris Yao, along with Mo Patton, the Hall of Famer and National Sports Media Association Sports Writer of the Year for Tennessee. Glad to have you guys along with us as we are getting ready for the weekend of sports that includes so much. I mean, when I tell you all the things that we got going on, we can't get it all in. There's just too much going on. High school, college, pros. Man, what a weekend of sports it's going to be. We're going to talk about all the things that are coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mo, how are you?
I'm all right. It's just it's nice that it's Friday, I think.
It is nice that it's Friday. I will agree with that. I will agree. Yeah, it's especially when we don't have anything. Typically, Friday doesn't mean anything for us. Yeah. It's Friday and you ain't got no job, but you know you got to work all weekend. So, and that's kind of how it normally goes. But this weekend, a little different for us, and
kind of the calm before the storm.
It is exactly what it is. It's the calm before the storm, and I think we're certainly going to see plenty of storm. So
spring sports starts up next week.
Spring sports do, in fact, start next week. You might need to get a little closer. There we go. You know, it's
always something.
Well, you know, when we reset the studios up, there it is.
There it is.
That's what happened.
Boom. Yeah.
Somebody mess with your stuff, man. Can't believe that. Cannot believe we would let somebody mess with your microphone.
Well, it's not my stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So there we go.
We have a lot to get to, and we're going to get to it here momentarily. But pushing the buttons today, we have a special producer in-house, and that is Justin Kulik. Justin, thanks for doing this, man. We appreciate it. And yeah,
there we go. Hey, how's it going, boys?
What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I am pumped to be here.
No, thank you for joining us.
For helping us, because I would have been useless, Justin.
No, you guys are proficient. You're the most proficient people I know.
Well,
you need to know more people.
Maybe I need to get out a little bit, but
yeah, no doubt.
No, thanks, man. We appreciate it. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you the results that we have, the schedule that we have, and you'll take it or leave it because that's what we got. I have to do all this myself here. And
News.
There we go. It's a long way away.
Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support local youth sports in southern Middle Tennessee.
In girls basketball state tournament action, Class 1A play, Wayne County defeated Cloudland 51-28. It was Dresden 50, Van Buren County 33. Gleason with a 55-39 win over Clay County, and McKenzie defeating North Green 58-44.
In 2A action, York Institute eliminated Gatlinburg Pittman 66-65. It was West. That was an overtime, I believe. Westview with a 44-32 win over Alcoa. And in 3A semifinals, it was Jackson Southside, a 49-46 winner over Page, and Upperman defeats Creekwood earlier today, 45-44.
In SEC tournament play yesterday, it was Texas A&M defeating Florida 83-80 in overtime. LSU with a 76-68 win over Missouri. Mississippi State defeated South Carolina 73-51, and Vanderbilt downs Alabama, as they predicted, 82-76. Conference USA play, MTSU held on for a 66-59 overtime win against Texas El Paso. And in SEC quarterfinal action today, number 1 Auburn goes down 67-62 to Texas A&M.
NCAA women's action, it was Middle Tennessee State, as I think we may have told you the final score yesterday, 70-50 over Southern Miss. In NHL action, the Preds get a big win over the shorthanded Ducks 4-1. Today's schedule in progress as we speak. It is Beach and Bearden, and Bearden has that one in hand pretty heavily, 38-22 right now, coming up on halftime over Beach. Cookeville takes on Farragut at 2:45.
In the Class 1A semifinals at 4:30, Dresden faces Wayne County, and Gleason that was at 4:30. Dresden, Wayne County, 4:30. At 6, it's Gleason and McKenzie. Your Class 2A championship game tomorrow at 11 o'clock will be York Institute versus Westview. In 3A, Jackson Southside and Upperman will play in the 1:30 championship game, followed by the 4A finals at 4 and the 1A finals at 6:30, all at Murphy Center in Murfreesboro.
Tonight in SEC tournament play, Tennessee will take on Mississippi State at 5 o'clock. And then in the nightcap again, Vanderbilt, they're playing all night long. They take on the Cats of Kentucky at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, it's the semifinals. It'll be at noon and 2, both of those on ESPN. And then the finals will be at noon on Sunday at also on ESPN.
In the Conference USA tournament, UAB and MTSU are playing right now on CBSSN, and the finals of that will be tomorrow. Is that right?
Yes, the finals are tomorrow.
So UAB and Middle are playing in the semifinals right now. The finals will be at 7:30 on Saturday, also on CBS Sports Network. And NCAA women's play, specifically Conference USA tournament action, MTSU faces Louisiana Tech. That's a 7 o'clock game tonight in the semis on Stadium. The championship game will air on CBS Sports Network at 4:30 on Saturday.
In baseball action this weekend series, check your local listings for times. Tennessee Tech is at Southeastern Louisiana. Belmont is down in Birmingham at UAB, probably at Regions Field. Eastern Kentucky at Austin P. Middle Tennessee State is at Auburn. I think that's a today only. I don't think that's a series.
That's not okay.
I don't know. I think it's today only. Wagner is at Vanderbilt. Tennessee hosting Rhode Island, and Lipscomb heads over to Athens to take on the Bulldogs of Georgia.
Let's hope Wagner didn't bring their rowdy basketball fans with them.
Yeah, I hope they brought their coach with the jersey, though.
In NCAA softball action, the one game that we know of is Tennessee will play at Como. That game is ongoing, and it can be seen on the SEC network.
It's all three days.
1 o'clock.
Same time.
Same bat time, same bat channel?
Same bat channel, all 3 days.
Okay. It's Groundhog Day in Como. NBA action tonight at 7 o'clock on NBA TV. The Grizzlies travel to MSG, Madison Square Garden. They will take on the Knicks again. That's a 7 o'clock tip.
No, it's at.
I'm sorry, that's at FedEx. My bad. It's flipped. The Knicks come to Memphis.
The rundown.
It is still the rundown.
It's still the rundown. On Sunday, the Grizzlies go to Oklahoma City for a 6 o'clock game. That can be seen on Valley Sports South. And in NHL action, when is this?
I'm sorry, it's 11:30 a.m.
When?
Saturday
at 11:30. The Blues visit Bridgestone, take on the Preds. That can be seen on the NHL Network.
And Auburn is hosting Middle for a full weekend series. So it will be all weekend down on the plains.
That'll be fun. And that is your rundown.
That is, in fact, the rundown. All right.
Justin, it's not always that convoluted.
You see, that's the thing is the weekend rundown gets wild because we're trying to tell you about 3 days worth of stuff coming up, and it takes a minute. So anyway,
Sorry about that, boys. Hold on one second.
Oh, no, you're fine. It's us. It's not you, it's us.
It's us, not exactly. It's not you, it's us for sure. How about this? How about we'll talk about that with the Preds? How about it tomorrow morning? We'll talk about that with the voice of the Nashville Predators. Pete Weber joins us on Main Street Sports today, right after this. So there he is. Stick around and you'll see more of him right after this on Main Street Sports today. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back into Main Street Sports today. Mo, one thing we did not mention, and that's because we didn't know about it until I flipped over to Twitter, as we are wont to do here on the show. 6 o'clock tonight, you can catch in Caldwell, Idaho, the Firehawks will be in the national tournament, taking on Ottawa, Arizona in the round of 64.
The Firehawks of
UT Southern. That's
okay.
right. You can find the link. The link is in their bio. If you look up UTS men's b-ball on Twitter, you can find the link to watch that game. Firehawks, 6 o'clock tonight. That's exciting. Good for them.
March Madness began a little early in Pulaski, I guess.
It did, in fact. All right. Speaking of madness, playing hockey at 11:30 in the morning is a little weird,
That's pretty mad.
but
Some folks are probably pretty mad.
I mean, here's the best part. You get done
Mhm.
and it's daylight when you leave. You get to get home without having to worry about, it being dark. Here's the problem. It's going to snow tonight. Probably not going to stick because it's 60 degrees outside right now. The ground's
Right now,
yeah, but the ground's too warm for it to stick. I mean, it's warm. I can't imagine that it's going to stay. I don't know. I might be wrong. But there will be ice inside Bridgestone Arena where the Nashville Predators play host. Of course, that's always fun. It's always fun when the Blues come to town. So let's talk about it and bring in the voice of the Nashville Predators, Pete Weber. Pete, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing well this afternoon. Thank you so very much.
man, he sounds good.
He does.
He probably sounds better than we do.
Probably.
Oh,
No.
I'm sorry. He sounds better than we do. My bad. Yeah. And he's certainly more knowledgeable than we are.
Especially about the Nashville Predators, for sure.
Pete, this is a stretch that a lot of people have pointed to as they look at this Predators team, and certainly got a successful outing last night, 4-1 over the visiting Anaheim Ducks. Not so mighty, but big win there to improve to 33-20-4. And as St. Louis comes to town tomorrow.
Yeah, St. Louis is going to be one heck of a challenge. It was at practice earlier today at Centennial Sportsplex, and the guys know that, number one, with that brunch time start, as you guys refer to it, there will not be the traditional morning skate tomorrow, because if they did that, it would have to be at 3 a.m. And then we would talk to the coach probably about 3:45, 4 o'clock. He preferred just having practice today and doing our interviews for tomorrow's broadcast today. That worked out. But as Coach Hines said, most of the team's practices are around 11:30. So if the guys just get up and realize this one is one that counts, they should be in pretty fair shape against a very good St. Louis team.
On a little bit of a roll here, picked up the big 8-0 shellacking out at San Jose, and then come back and get the 2-1 win Tuesday night against Dallas. So got to be feeling pretty good about the way the team is playing. And after this game, they got a quick turnaround because they play Sunday at Minnesota at 6.
Right. So, and this will be sort of the Predators had the big ceremony a couple of weeks ago to honor Pekka Rinne and retire his number. Well, the Predators will be on the other side of it in Minnesota on Sunday. They're going to retire their former captain's number 9, Mikko Koivu. And some of the Predators players had been with Minnesota. I would imagine some of them might be at least somewhat involved in that. And I've been told that the way the ceremony is going right now, it seems to be open-ended. So it might end by the time I have breakfast Monday morning.
Well, I think that would be – so they're going to do it after the game?
No, they're going to do it before the game, but just might delay the game.
May not be start till midnight. Okay.
Right.
Perfectly fine.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but I don't know how many numbers the Wild would have retired necessarily.
This is their first. Yep.
So
Pekka's was the first for the Predators. So
they're gonna take full advantage of it then.
Sure. There's no question.
I don't think the Predators announced at that ceremony that there's going to be a Pekka Rinne statue going up outside Bridgestone Arena next year. I don't know if the Wild are going to go to that extent for Mikko.
Well, a statue for Pekka would certainly make sense.
Is it going to be of him standing on his head?
Likely. Should it not be with a goaltender? I mean, how often over the years have we said that? Pekka Rinne is standing on his head. And there by God, the statue should demonstrate that.
Pete, I during that Stanley Cup run, I was here for CMA Fest, and that was a mess in of itself. But I saw this sign outside of one of the Broadway bars that said, "Jesus saves, but not like Pekka."
Yeah, and that's sort of a, hockey fans have been very creative that way. They used
especially
to say,
Nashville fans.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, in my younger years covering the NHL, they had Cheever saves, but Esposito scores on the rebound. So that's the
No good.
Ouch.
No good.
Yep.
11:30 puck drop is interesting. What I'm curious of is this game will be on the NHL Network, so I'm assuming the Daves will not be on the call. We will not have Dave Neal and the gang on the call.
I don't know yet. I don't know. It's one of their showcase games where they do it back at the studios in Secaucus. Our people will still be doing the game. Bally Sports
Sure.
Southeast will be doing it. And I think Bally Sports Southwest will be originating for the St. Louis Blues as well. So 3 different choices there just on TV. And then you have the 2 choices on radio, Nashville or St. Louis.
Nashville sports fans are used to 11:30 game starts.
Come on,
basically giving Vanderbilt football breakfast with the Commodores, that kind of thing. So this isn't a huge shock to the system for a lot of these folks. But and as you said, Pete, they typically practice around that time, so shouldn't be a big deal. It's probably more of a big deal to us than it is to them.
And with that aforementioned possibility of snow overnight, complicating the arrival for some, perhaps at Bridgestone Arena tomorrow. Though, don't we all recall the night a few years ago where there was a prediction of snow on the 10 o'clock news, and metropolitan schools announced their closure for the next 3 days, and not a flake fell whatsoever. It was great business for the malls, but school was closed just on the basis of a weather forecast. So we'll take that and see what happens. I guess by growing up in Illinois, I'm so close to the show me state of Missouri that I say, okay, let's wait and see what actually does occur.
Pete, you mentioned the challenge of this game tomorrow with St. Louis coming to town. Elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, St. Louis, they won the Stanley Cup after being at about this time of year in 2019. They were last or next to last in the NHL and still came back and blew by everybody in the playoffs. The tribute to Linda Ronstadt there, the old Blue by You award, and went right through to beat the Boston Bruins for the Stanley Cup. And they've not started out anywhere near as badly as that 2019 year. But here they come into this game and you say, okay, compare them to the Predators. There's only a 3-point difference in the standings. And St. Louis and Nashville have each played 57 games. So that tells you how close it is right now. And St. Louis is a team that has great depth. They've got a guy who has said he wanted to be traded, Vladimir Tarasenko, but he's coming through for them big time to this point of the schedule. And their goaltending is going through a transition. Jordan Binnington was essentially the rookie that won them the cup in 2019, but now a youngster, another Finnish goaltender. Can you fancy that? Ville Husso is the guy in goal for St. Louis, and he seems to be taking over the crease for them as we move toward the postseason. And by the way, everybody take notes tomorrow, because this is just the first of 2 11:30 Saturday home starts for the Nashville Predators. I guess I shouldn't have to say Saturday. I can't imagine this quite on a Tuesday or a Thursday. But
businessman special. There we go. Yeah. Gotta like it.
Pete, you mentioned the goaltenders. Bennington and Husso have actually they have alternated
right
for the last 8 or 9 games, with Husso getting the win in New York. Do you foresee them continuing that, or do you think Husso will be in goal?
Knowing Craig Berube, the Blues coach, as I do, he wants to do everything he can to win this game, to try to kill the Predators' idea that they can catch them and finish second or third in the division. So I'm going to anticipate Husso in the morning. Well, that sounds like take a Husso in the morning and call me tonight. But as your doctor might say, but I think that's what he's going to do. Obviously, I have no more insight than that. That's just my educated hunch, if you will.
Something to be said for it. Speaking here on Main Street Sports today with the voice of the Predators, Pete Weber. Preds have, as we've mentioned on numerous occasions here, an 11:30 puck drop tomorrow morning against the Blues before they travel on Sunday to Minnesota. And Pete, it looks like a kind of wonky, for lack of a better phrase, part of the schedule here. I mean, you're home, you're out, you're home, you're out, you're home,
Yeah.
you're out for 3, and then you're home for 2 to close March. I mean,
And then there's the whole month of April to follow that.
that's got to be a little tough.
It is. And we wear out our suitcases after a while. So I try to alternate by length of trip. So this will be a light pack to take to the rink tomorrow and then go to the airport and fly to Minnesota late tomorrow afternoon. But yes, it can get to be a bit of a grind. And I guess this is the payoff for having had a very light February where games were only filled in because of the Olympic break being non-existent, the NHL not going over to Beijing, and then filling in some of the 5 games that the Predators had postponed. But other teams, Calgary, for example, had 10 postponements to make up, and they couldn't do all those in that period of time in February. So everybody's schedule is really compressed, really jammed together.
It's interesting because you mentioned going back and forth between April 12th and April 28th or April 26th. They will be home for 8 of 9. So at least you'll get to sleep then.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
I will come home from each game, get down on my recliner, and I might just blank out for a few hours. And the whole neighborhood will come over and knock on the door asking Claudia what that horrible noise is coming from the house. And she'll say it's just Pete's sleep apnea.
Yeah, well. Pete, we appreciate your time as always here on Main Street Sports today. It's always a pleasure and never not. So again,
Thank you.
You bring a level of professionalism to this show that
we otherwise don't have.
Otherwise would not have.
No, you guys have it. JP has it. And I got to give you one update, Mo. Last night, the hot dog count was only 2 for Mr.
Only
Carroll.
2, because he knew you were watching.
Well, possibly, but those 2 hot dogs were brought upstairs to him by me and sat down in front of him. And I can say they were not rejected out of sort. They were consumed, and rather quickly.
Well, of course they were. The legendary Steve Carroll on the call for the Ducks, longtime Nashville Sounds broadcaster.
And the Nashville Knights.
And, that's right.
Lord.
And the Nashville Knights. Yeah, he goes way back. Pete, thanks, man. Have
You got
fun
it,
tomorrow
guys.
morning and Sunday evening.
Yes, you got that right. And tune in to the game in Minnesota and see when they actually drop the puck.
Yeah, because with the schedule is the schedule. So it'll be like high school wrestling. 6
There you
o'clock.
go. Much like it.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, guys.
Pete Weber, the voice of the Nashville Predators here on Main Street Sports. So when we return, Mo is decked out in his Braves gear because he's celebrating. We'll continue to celebrate on the other side of the break and tell you what's next for the Braves and for baseball. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today returns after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org, or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today here on this Friday edition. Hope you guys are having a phenomenal start to your weekend, because if I know you, it's March Madness, and you guys have been watching the SEC basketball tournament since this morning when Texas A&M ousted the Auburn Tigers, the top-seeded Auburn Tigers. So there's one of the we only need
That's all we
one
needed.
more upset.
Well, we said that we did not think the top 4 seeds would get through.
We said we wouldn't be surprised if we would be surprised if 2 top 4 seeds were playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
There's still a possibility it could happen.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to talk about it in the second half today when we are visiting with Chris Lee of Southeastern 14. And we'll also talk about it. The other tournaments that are going on. There are, of course, other tournaments happening right now across the country. And in women's basketball specifically, it's interesting. Jacksonville State is down at FGCU, and
it's not Dunk City anymore, is it?
Well, this is for girls.
Women.
It's definitely not, women. It's definitely not Dunk City for them.
It's more like 3 Point City.
That's
with,
exactly with Splash Mountain.
There you go. Especially with Kendall Spray over there, the former Wilson Central standout.
Yeah, they shoot the light out down there. But a lot of folks are watching that because obviously most people think FGCU would be the AQ, but they're 23rd ranked team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
If Jacksonville State pulls the upset, that's a bid steal.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of folks on the bubble
who are hoping Splash Mountain comes through.
Yeah, come on, FGC. Yeah.
Oh, anyway, we'll get into the basketball stuff in the second half for sure. We'll also talk about some NFL quarterbacks who are on the move and what that means for some teams who are looking, which apparently Matt Ryan is not going anywhere. So Interesting. But right now, baseball is back. And of course, Mo and I are most worried about FF5.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Freddie Freeman going to end up? The fact that he's still unsigned is a little worrisome.
It's concerning.
I don't know how Alex Anthopoulos' first phone call wasn't to Freddie Freeman's agent saying, okay, 6 years, whatever
180.
you need. Yeah, 6 years, 180, we're good, let's go.
And, we don't know that wasn't the case.
That's true. It certainly appears the Yankees and Dodgers are all in on Freddie Freeman, although I
can't see him in New York.
I do not see him in New York.
Now, I can see the Dodgers. I mean, he's from Orange County.
Absolutely.
I can see that. I can't see the Yankees.
The reason I can't see the Yankees is I don't think Chelsea's going to let him shave his beard.
There is that.
Like, have you seen him without a beard? No. Chelsea's like, no. I just don't think that's where you are in this point in your life. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the Braves certainly are going to have to make a really, really great offer. Now, if they don't sign Freddie Freeman, the obvious and most talked about replacement was Matt Olson. And they have talked to Olson before the lockout.
Well, here's the thing. Olson's not a free agent, is he?
No, he's got two years of arbitration left.
So it's not necessarily Olson they need to be talking to. It's Oakland that they need to be talking to. And everybody talks like Oakland's just going to say, okay, here he is.
Well, we got
What?
prospects out the wazoo, man.
Yeah, but we've not shown any real desire to give any of them up either.
That's true. That's true. We've typically fleeced everybody else.
And so, once Freeman is gone, if that's the way it plays out, I can imagine Oakland is going to be like, okay, we got you. You want Oakland? Olsen? Fine. Here's what it's going to take. Pache, Waters,
Michael Harris.
a couple of arms. No, they're not getting Michael Harris. They can't have Michael Harris.
I don't think they can get Drew Waters either. We'll give up Pache. But here's my take. If it's not Freddie Freeman, here's what you do. Olsen's got 2 years left on his deal in Oakland. Anthony Rizzo, 2-year rental, sign Olsen in free agency.
And it's funny. I was on the phone with a friend of the show, George Plaster, earlier today. And he said, Olsen was committed to Vanderbilt or signed with Vanderbilt before he was drafted. So
he's from Atlanta.
He's also, I did not realize that. He also spent some time here as a member of the Nashville Sounds. He mentioned Rizzo. I mentioned Chris Bryant.
And move Riley to first?
No, play Bryant at first.
Play Bryant at first?
Plays everything else.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, what makes you think he can't play first?
Here's the thing. I'm thinking short term. I mean, Chris Bryant's probably a guy who's going to require 5 or 6 years himself, whereas Rizzo is not.
I don't think Chris Bryant's 5 or 6 years will be nearly as expensive as Freddie Freeman's 5 or 6 years, though.
Maybe not, but I mean, it's kind of it's an experiment either way, though. And are you going to give 5 years on an experiment to play him at first base?
I think, especially now with the DH coming to the National League, you've got some options with him. You could flip flop him and Riley. So
we know Riley can play it.
Mm-hmm. You can play him some in the outfield, give somebody an off day. You can DH him.
This lineup with the DH is scary.
Well, depending on who some of the other signings are that they make.
Once you get Acuna back, your outfield is disgusting.
We don't know what's going to happen with Ozuna.
I mean, as of right now, he's playing for the Atlanta Braves.
And
he's going to play as of right now.
We don't know what's going to happen with Ozuna. I mean, are they going to cut him? We don't know. They might. They may not. But like you said, if he comes back and some of the other pieces in the outfield come back, and then Acuna gets healthy whenever he does, you've suddenly got a wealth of bats.
I think you have to sign Eddie Rosario unless you're playing Duvall in center field.
See, there's so much. You're going to let Soler walk then?
Got to. Man. That's the problem right now. The Braves are in such a they have a good problem.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They have a good problem. They have too many really good outfilders. Overtime Rosario
and the fact that they acquired so many of them on the fly
at the deadline. That's kind of the thing. So what the Braves have to do at this point is figure out what to do at first base. All right. You've got everything else that you have options everywhere else. First base is the one place where you don't have any really great backup plans. So get that done. Then worry about everything else. Because I think Acuna is going to end up being back in May because that's just the kind of player he is. and he doesn't want to play center field. So putting him in right, probably less stress on the ACL over
Is it
time.
that he doesn't want to play center, or they don't
He
want him to
doesn't
play?
want to play center.
Okay, I don't know that, but okay. Put him in right then. I mean, his arm probably plays better in right anyway.
Which is why you need Duvall or Rosario playing center. And if Ozuna is not back, you have Duvall for left. And if Ozuna is not back, you probably also sign Soler.
Yeah,
and just take the hit on the salary, the $53 million salary that we owe Marcell Ozuna. Oh, by the way, what do you do with Guillermo Heredia?
He's got it. You've almost got to have him, particularly if you're going to play Duvall in center, just as a late inning defensive replacement.
Defensive guy.
And for the swords.
Of course, you have to have the swords.
Not necessarily in that order.
And one thing that you mentioned on Twitter earlier today, pitchers hitting probably not going to be gone forever.
I don't think so. I mean, I hate the thought of the DH, but again, it really helps the Braves out as they are currently constructed. But I can't think that we're not going to see Max Fried swing the bat again. I can't think we're not going to see Huascar Ynoa go up to the plate. So I don't know that that pitchers hitting is done forever with this team anyway. So we'll see.
Probably not, but you're right. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's take a break and talk take some halftime time, because halftime is always good. When we come back on Main Street Sports Today, it is halftime, so stick around. We'll be right back. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com. Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
That's right. It's halftime here on Main Street Sports Today. Mo, a long time ago, when I was in high school, I saw this really fantastic singer on a television show. And I thought, man, she's awfully attractive. I should try to get in on that. Well, sometimes you just miss out. And Kelly Clarkson, well, the guy who did get in on that is making out like a bandit. Have you seen the divorce settlement?
Oh, goodness, no.
All right. The 39-year-old Kelly Clarkson will pay a one-time payment of just over $1.3 million to Brandon Blackstock. 1.3, right? Monthly child support payments of $45,601 for their two children.
$45,601
per month.
Per month for the two children.
For the two kids.
So he's going to have custody?
Apparently so. And
that doesn't happen every day.
Until January 31st, 2024, she will pay $115,000 a month in spousal support.
For the next 2 years.
Basically. For the next 2 years.
Goodness.
He keeps the farm cattle, the livestock, the stock dogs, and horses, multiple vehicles, including a Ford F-350, a Ford F-250, an ATV, and several Cat snowmobiles. He will also walk away with a golf simulator and a couple of Patek Philippe watches, which can be upwards of $500,000.
Now, you said the spousal support was how much?
$115 per month.
Per month?
Per month. You heard me.
Per month.
For 2 years. So
plus a lump sum of 1.3.
So that's about $2.5 million. Then you got the 1.3 on top. Then you got $45,000 a month for the kids until they're 18.
Well, the kids are going to need that.
$45,000 a month? Whew. That's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't know she was rolling like that.
I didn't realize she was either, but apparently Brandon did.
He figured it out real darn quick, didn't he?
If ever the phrase was appropriate. Let's go, Brandon.
Oh, hold on. I got to give you 3 dings on that. that was phenomenal. All right, let's get out of here and take a quick break, because when we come back, it is college basketball talk. Plenty of it, too, on Main Street Sports today. Y'all stick around. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
back into the second half of Main Street Sports Today. Chris Lee coming up at the 3 o'clock hour. College hoops tournament talk here momentarily, and then NFL quarterbacks are on the move. What are teams going to do? Who should they be looking for? Who are the best available quarterbacks, or who are the best quarterbacks that you should go get? That's the question.
Available or otherwise?
Available or otherwise. So we'll talk about that here momentarily. But want to mention that as we have been giving you updates throughout the TSSAA basketball tournaments, Bearden in Class 4A defeated Beach, ending the Lady Bucks season. Farragut up 13-4 on Cookeville.
What was that Bearden score?
70-55, I think. Hold on, 74-55 was the final there. So with 3 minutes to go, it's 13-7 Farragut over Cookeville. So we'll continue to keep you updated there. At halftime
Wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
Bearden beat Beach.
Correct.
Farragut's up on Cookeville?
Correct.
Oh, goodness.
A Bearden Farragut final?
Yeah.
Could be fun.
Yeah. Wonder how many times they played.
Probably a bunch.
I bet they have. Yeah.
At halftime in the Conference USA men's tournament right now, UAB leads Middle Tennessee State 35-31.
You didn't take any joy in announcing that one, did you?
I mean, I kind of want Middle to win. I kind of want Middle to go to the tournament. I mean, they've had such a great year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a team that you would feel good for if they could get to the dance, especially with the way that we may have felt last year about the coaching staff over there. Wasn't super favorable.
No.
But he certainly found his way this season and
improving what? CUSA Curtin?
Yeah.
Accurate.
Proving the C and Paul Edinger or
Ensign.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised to see Middle win this game. I mean, it's a game.
Who's in that other semifinal?
I'm sure it's North Texas and someone.
Western?
No, I think Western got beat last
darn.
night. I know. Just don't. I knew you would hate to hear that.
I hate that.
So let's see here. I believe it is. Man, here, I'll just type in Ford and I'll get it. Nope, I will not get it. I have no idea. Conference USA basketball tournament is who knows? But still,
North Texas beat Rice yesterday. La Tech beat Western Kentucky.
That's what it was.
59-57. So I guess it's North Texas and La Tech in the other semifinal.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
North Texas, the favorite there. They're the favorite to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprising at all that they would be in this situation.
Especially at the Ford Center at the Star or whatever it is.
That's definitely not the team you want to play.
Yeah.
If you're in it. But some other games of note currently, especially for outside for teams on the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Texas A&M may have played their way in today. And Indiana as well, by the way. Indiana beating Illinois.
After beating Michigan?
After beating Michigan. Michigan may be out completely, even though they are like number one in Ken Palm. A lot of folks are probably, taking a look at that UConn Villanova game. Although, obviously those two teams are probably both in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Central Florida, Memphis. Memphis really needs to at least get to the finals of the AAC.
Didn't Memphis go like 10-1 since last we visited them?
Memphis,
I think they've gone on a bit of a run here.
Well, and they did, and in that, they also beat Houston, but they did lose to SMU, which SMU beat Houston and Memphis, by the way, in the last month. So they lost to SMU twice this year, but starting with Tulsa, they won 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10-1. Starting with that Tulsa win when they lost to SMU, when they lost at UCF at East Carolina and SMU at home. And they've gone 10-1 since then. So I think Memphis has played close to getting themselves in, but I really think they need to get to the finals in order to really solidify that. And they'll play UCF tonight on ESPNU. That's an 8:00 tip.
And Penny just walking around popping collars left and right, I guess.
I mean, maybe.
How you like me now?
I think if you get wait. No wonder I didn't see this. Louisiana Tech beat North Texas 42-36.
Yesterday?
Today, earlier.
Oh, so that game's over?
The game is over.
And La Tech beat North Texas.
La Tech beat North Texas.
So La Tech is sitting there in the finals against the winner of this UAB middle game.
That's correct.
Ooh. It's always cool when you get somebody else to do your dirty work for you.
It really is. if you can. Back to Memphis. Memphis needs to beat Houston. Here's the thing. A lot of folks in the Power Fives hoping that Memphis gets knocked off because
bubbles
start getting a little bit smaller and you start pushing your way in. Folks like Texas A&M, I think a win over number 1 seeded Auburn, though, probably solidifies them to at least a play-in game at the 11 seed. Probably.
Been a long time coming for Buzz Williams out there.
It has.
I think it's taken a little bit longer than had been anticipated when he got that job coming from Virginia Tech. But, they certainly today looked like an NCAA tournament team.
They absolutely did. They played as well as you could against a team that should be either be a 1 seed or the number 5. I mean,
they may have lost their 1 seed today.
It's possible,
especially when you take into consideration the success that they've had at home all year. And now you put them in a neutral court situation, and this is what you get. And they're not going to play at home again.
It's true.
And so, I mean, if this is the Auburn that you're going to see in a neutral site situation, maybe they're not a number 1.
Just don't put them in Tampa because they had to come back from 15 to beat South Florida in that same arena. And then today they lose. So clearly they just don't like playing in Tampa.
They want to put Tampa in their rearview mirror. Huh?
Yeah. Send me to Seattle if you have to.
Anywhere but Tampa.
Anywhere but Tampa. Exactly.
If there's anything being played in Tampa, we don't want no part of it.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Let's take a quick break because we need to get to Chris Lee, who can give us a lot more insight on tonight's Vanderbilt Kentucky game, last night's Vanderbilt Alabama game, and possibly some Tennessee Mississippi State insight as well. We may talk some baseball because he knows what he's talking about. So let's do all of that when we come back on Main Street Sports Today. We're going to take a break. Chris Lee of Southeastern 14 right after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mo, welcome back in. It's Friday. Half an hour to go. And then we can dip out for the weekend. I actually have to go to Kroger to pick up some more antibiotics because still got the ear infection.
I saw something about that earlier today. I hate to hear that.
It's no good.
I've got to make a run. I think I'm going to go and grab some wings and go back to the house.
You better grab plenty of them because you're going to be stuck at home for at least tonight.
Well, I'm perfectly fine being stuck at home tonight with Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt, Kentucky.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great tournament tonight. You get to see a couple of really good basketball games. Obviously, it looks like Arkansas is well in hand on LSU, 42-26 with 16:15 to go in the second half. The Razorbacks taking care of business. So
okay, so that's the 4 and the 5. Okay, but Arkansas is a 4. Never mind.
yeah, well, it's a 4-5 and yet. But don't count them out because yesterday LSU way up on Missouri, and Missouri
all of a sudden it was a ball game.
Came back real fast at the end. So let's talk a little SEC hoops and baseball as we are joined by Chris Lee of Southeastern 14. Chris, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right, here we
Awesome.
go. I have figured it out. Listen, our producer is not in house today, so it's kind of been an iffy situation, but glad to know we figured it out.
Yeah. Chris, appreciate you taking some time with us this afternoon. First of all, before we swing into the SEC basketball tournament, we announced that Wagner and Vanderbilt are playing baseball this weekend, and I just made the comment that I hope Wagner's fans didn't necessarily make the trip after their situation up there in the Northeast Conference Finals against Bryant. Has there been any rowdiness out at the Hawk that you're aware of?
You know, I wasn't there today. I'm doing the double duty where I've got Vandy on one TV and the SEC tournament on the other because I just didn't want to miss the tournament and Wagner's won one game coming in because I didn't think it was the the most marquee of matchups that we've seen at the Hawk. But yeah, I saw the thing at Bryant the other night. That was a bad scene, and just glad nobody got hurt, I guess is a good way to say it.
If you're a Vanderbilt basketball fan, you gotta be really happy right now. I mean, coming out of that win over Georgia, they said that they wanted Alabama. They got Alabama, and over 40 minutes, they took care of business against Alabama. A lot of folks saying that, if you were curious of what Vanderbilt would look like when they were healthy, this was the game to watch.
It worked out a lot better than the last time they said they wanted Alabama, didn't it?
Ooh, yeah.
But seriously, watching them last night, they're not playing well. They're down 14. But I'm just thinking the way that they have played all year, they're out of it. And I'm thinking back to the SEC schedule. Kentucky blew them out in Memorial. That was a 12-point game at the end, but that was not indicative of the game. Kentucky dominated them from start to finish. And then they went to Gainesville, couldn't throw it in the ocean, got beat by 20 and weren't competitive the whole day. Other than that, pretty much every single game they played this year, they were in at or near the end. And I don't know what it is about this bunch. I do think that having Chapman and Robbins absolutely helps, but they play with a little toughness and edge. I mean, I thought there were a couple times last night you were going to see fights break out. It's a different kind of bunch. It's not the most skilled Vandy team I've seen, but they fight, and they've got a superstar in Scottie Pippen Jr., and that was a fun game to watch last night.
You know, we asked Teresa Walker earlier this week how deep can Alabama or can Vanderbilt take it in this tournament, and you know, she mentioned that getting to the quarterfinal round was a very real possibility, and it certainly helped that in the first round they were dominant and didn't have to play their starters for the entirety of that game. Last night they obviously had to do so against Alabama. So what does that mean for this team tonight? You know, Kentucky playing their first game of the tournament against has to be weary Vanderbilt squad.
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, they got to rest guys against Georgia, which I thought was big. Usually it's not the second game when I've watched when the tired legs and things sink in. It's the third. And I think tonight they're going to compete with Kentucky for at least a half. I could be wrong about it. Now, the second half is where I worry, because that's where you start seeing jumpers hit the front rim time and time again. Of course, Kentucky's going to be really fresh, although, you know, as you saw today, that didn't help Auburn necessarily, although they weren't playing a team that had played twice. But, yeah, I mean, I think that Vanderbilt's got a shot to give them a game. It did in Lexington. That's when I think Vandy had Chapman and Robbins, and it was interesting that night. So I think this could be a game for a while. I think Kentucky's just too much, and combined with potential fatigue for Vandy. But you never know, because, again, game one was not a typical game one for them. They got to rest their starters a lot longer than you normally would in that spot.
Speaking of Texas A&M beating Auburn, them along with Indiana defeating number 1 seed Illinois, that certainly made some bubble teams cringe. Do you think Texas A&M maybe played their way in today?
I think they need one more. I thought it before today, and I've got a chart in front of me with 70 teams and everything about everybody. And I kind of scouted out ahead of time in case it happened. In fact, I said it on our podcast this morning. I think A&M still needs another win at least to get there. Of course, if they win 2 more, they are there. But yeah, I think that the body of work. I mean, when you lose 8 in a row in the conference point, that's a large chunk of your season. It's hard to make up for. I think they're really good. I think in terms of, are they good enough to be in the tournament? Yes. Have they done enough? I don't think they've quite done enough yet, especially with Indiana winning. I think it's going to take a little bit more and then maybe a lot of scoreboard watching elsewhere unless they can win the whole thing.
All right.
As you've got your chart of 70-plus teams, how much attention are you paying to the situation out in Frisco with Conference USA, where La Tech just beat North Texas, which was the expected winner of that conference? What are your thoughts about how that thing's going to shake out at this point?
You know, I thought North Texas had a below average shot. You know, and I'm looking up, I had them right below Virginia and Oregon. I don't know if that's fair or not. You have to, when you're comparing teams that get a chance to beat the Dukes and the Carolinas of the world, you know, it's a team like North Texas that doesn't get many shots. It's hard to know how to gauge resumes. I do look at computer numbers a lot and quads. You know, I thought North Texas maybe had a shot. You know, Oregon and Virginia had lost. That helped a lot. Virginia Tech winning did not help. A&M winning did not help. You know, so then you're looking at Indiana, Dayton, Florida losing help. But I think it was going to be a long shot to get in losing at this stage. Unfortunately, you know, they had a great year. I think they're going to be hard pressed to get in. Computers have got them, let's see, strength of resume 43 and 46. That's very much on the bubble. Predictive computers have them in the high 50s as an average, which indicates, you know, they think they're probably just outside the bubble. So I would expect, given that their biggest win is a road win at UAB and they don't have a lot else that might really get anybody's attention. I think that was a tough loss for them. It's probably going to mean the difference in maybe getting in if you played a little bit longer, and probably almost certainly not now.
If either MTSU or UAB gets past Louisiana Tech, where would you project them seed-wise?
About the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I don't have middle on, and I'm kind of tracking the teams mostly that have either gotten the bids already or had a chance to get the large.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have middle's resume in front of me, but I'm thinking, that's usually what a 13 seed-ish.
Yeah, they've usually been 12, 13.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one year was a 14, which was I think that was an upset.
They were a 14 when they beat Michigan State.
When they beat Michigan State. That's right.
Yeah.
No, they were a 15.
Yeah,
it was a 15-2 when they beat Michigan State.
You're right. I should know that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll put it this way. Wright State, Bryant, Colgate, Georgia State, Jacksonville State, Delaware, Longwood, I think are all going to be below them. So then you got the Big Sky, the American East, the Big West, Ivy, MAC, MEAC, Southland, those leagues. You count those down. Those leagues are all going to be below whoever wins Conference USA. So, that to me is looking like a 12 or 13, just without having those teams in front of me. None of those teams are going to jump the winner of that league, I wouldn't think.
Sure.
Speaking with Chris Lee of Southeastern 14 here on Main Street Sports today, talking a little college basketball. It's pretty much that time of year. Chris, we talked a little bit about Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and the late game tonight in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. This Mississippi State team looked pretty good last night against South Carolina. How do they carry that over, and how concerned does Tennessee need to be here in the 5 o'clock game?
I've liked State talent all year. I love Iverson. I think he's a tremendous guard. They've got a couple of bigs in Brooks and Toulouse-Smith, and Smith was hurt a good bit of the year, and that certainly hurt them. They got depth with Rocket Watts, Garcia, some of those kids. I think it's a team that I look at what they have. I don't understand how that's a 13-loss team, but it is. I look at what they've done. They don't have a lot to show for it right now. They've beaten Arkansas and Alabama and really nobody else much of consequence. But I keep going back to that. That's a talented team. For some reason, it's not put it together. They were 1-8 on the road this year, and neutral. Let's see, they were what on neutral for 2-2. So that's the team that, for whatever reason, can't win outside its own building. Tennessee's really not the team that. I'm not saying State can't win, because it can, but Tennessee defends you so well and is starting to find offense in so many places. Tennessee's just been so consistent. I don't know. It's a tough order, but they got the talent, and if they won, look, I think we've already seen some pretty surprising things in this tournament already. So you could see it, but I'm not expecting it.
It's good news if you're a Vols fan, I guess. This Tennessee team, as you mentioned, has been so good defensively all year long, especially at home. But obviously, you don't play at home anymore. This is a very difficult and deep Southeastern Conference, even though national pundits would tell you differently. That's neither here nor there. We got so caught up in the Big Ten bubble last year, and they, decided to go to sleep in the tournament. But that's, again, another story for another day. Do you feel like Tennessee has an opportunity to play its way from a 3 seed to a 2 seed with a win in this tournament, with a tournament win?
Oh, in my mind, they already are, dude.
Wow.
I think I might be in the minority, but I've got a sheet with everything you can imagine in front of you. And to me, if I've got them as the 3rd 2 seed.
All right. Well,
where do you have Auburn after this loss to A&M?
I would probably flip Auburn and Kansas. I had Auburn as the last one, and Kansas as the first 2.
That's interesting. We had that conversation earlier this week. Who is the fourth number one? Is it Auburn or is it Kansas?
Yeah.
And we felt like it was Auburn. But
I think it's almost flip a coin. I mean, the way that I made the decision, I mean, and there was a lot more to it, but the number to write a dash for Auburn was 4, and for Kansas it's a 6. That being the loss number. Kansas played a tougher schedule overall, and I think you have to factor that in. But I thought it was almost a coin flip, and I took Auburn for that reason. But probably, and of course, Kansas is going to have to play too. If Kansas loses the game, then maybe it flips back. I guess one of the bigger questions too is, had Baylor locked in enough to be a 1 seed? Before losing yesterday, I don't know. I think maybe, but it's tough. I mean, Gonzaga's going to be a 1 seed. We know that for sure. Beyond that, I don't know how much is settled. And in Kentucky, by the way, a team that could certainly play its way into that conversation.
Well, I mean, if you're talking Kentucky or Kansas, it's pretty obvious where you got to go, considering the two, and Kentucky's win at Allen Fieldhouse. Right. It certainly makes a difference for them.
I mean, I get it, but I'm trying to do brackets that way. If you do that, it really wrecks things up, because I like to do it and say, well, I got this team as a 6, and I'll compare them to the 5. Can you move them ahead if you got a better resume? Sure. And I think you've got to go. You kind of have to ignore that unless it's strictly just those two teams involved, and you're trying to make a decision between the two of them. And right now, Kansas's resume is just a little bit better. Again, that could change. I think if Kentucky wins the whole thing, you're going to be hard pressed not to have Kentucky as a 1. Mm-hmm. But I think that, and I get it. I mean, it was a dominating win too, right? But I think Kansas has got just a little bit better resume, and I think you kind of have to go there for now.
So you think then potentially you could see 3 top 2 seeds between Kentucky, Auburn, and Tennessee?
Yeah, you could. And we played this fun little exercise about a week ago on our podcast where you're trying to get 4 twos, because you've got Arkansas hanging out there too. I don't know that Arkansas could get to a 2. Mm-hmm. You've got 3 other SEC teams, but that would kind of be funny if it happened.
It would be hilarious.
It would be,
and it would send. I just think people's heads would explode from coast to coast if it actually took place.
Well,
yeah, they would.
Does it hurt Arkansas's chances that when they win this game against LSU here in a few minutes, that they have played Texas A&M instead of Auburn?
Maybe.
That's a good question.
Arkansas has beaten Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. Then you'd give them LSU 3 times. Other than that, Arkansas hasn't beaten another team that's in the tournament. That's 6 wins. That's, I'm not going to say low, but you got a lot of teams on that 2 line that have beaten 7, maybe 8 teams or more, especially if you look at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's beaten, goodness, maybe got 12 wins against teams that are going to be in the field. That's where you start to suffer a little bit.
Sure.
Is that Arkansas didn't play anybody outside of the league. So it had nothing to gain there, and everything it's done is inside the league. So I think that hurts a little bit. Arkansas just left itself a little too much ground to make up between that out-of-conference schedule and winning the first 3. But my goodness, the Razorbacks have certainly done a good job of threading that needle ever since.
And it's pretty fascinating, Chris, like you said, that, as good as this team is and as good as it was expected to be, that they didn't play any better of a non-conference schedule than they did.
Yeah, I mean, that team flipped the switch about mid-January. I was hearing they had some chemistry issues. I don't know what they were. Musselman shortened the bench. Some guys like Chris Lee, who were playing a lot, started playing a lot less. Some guys like Connor Vanover, who were playing some, stopped playing at all. And, some nights they're playing 6 guys, but he found guys who, their defense got so much better. I kept looking at their KenPom defensive rating all year, and I looked up one day and I think they're in the top 20. I'm going, where did this come from? Because I think they were in maybe the 60s or 70s early in the season. But, they got serious about playing defense. guys found their roles. I think guys who were maybe taking some shots they shouldn't have taken found their way on the bench, and it has worked out incredibly well. The run that they have made in the last 2 months, if you had told me when they were 0-3 in the SEC that this was going to happen, I wouldn't have believed you, and I'm not sure Arkansas fans would have believed you either.
Chris Lee with Southeastern 14 joining us here on Main Street Sports today, dropping some college basketball knowledge as we come up on Selection Sunday. Chris, we appreciate your time and your insight.
Anytime. You guys be safe. Stock up on your bread and milk, and we'll talk soon.
You know we will. Thanks, Chris. Once again, Chris Lee of Southeastern 14 talking college hoops. Interesting.
As we dip out
information.
With 11:09 remaining in the second half, it's Arkansas 49, LSU 35. With 13:25 remaining in the second half out in Frisco, it's UAB 47, Middle Tennessee State 40. So.
All right, when we come back, in a little NFL talk, more not as much Titans, but everybody else. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today returns after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back in. It's Main Street Sports Today. The final 6 minutes before the end of the week. Deshaun Watson has completed the first 2 sessions of depositions in the lawsuit filed against him. Colin Kaepernick has posted videos on Twitter and other social media sites saying he's in the best shape of his life and to give him a call. So where I'm going with this is a lot of quarterbacks out there in limbo, one of which not being Matt Ryan, as we just saw earlier, that he is restructuring his deal with the Falcons. But there are a lot of teams, Carolina, who is looking for a quarterback. I guess they've decided Cam is not the guy again. It looks like San Francisco is transitioning to Trey Lance full time. So is Jimmy Garoppolo on the move? And if so, where? I think Indianapolis is a potential landing spot.
That's a stopgap. I mean, I don't. The fact that San Francisco is moving away from this guy kind of tells you everything you need to know about him, doesn't it?
I just don't think he was ever a real fit there. For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, took him to a Super Bowl. That seems like it would fit pretty well. But who am I? What do I know?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think there are a couple of quarterbacks who are in limbo right now with their current teams. Kyler Murray, Jimmy Garoppolo. I would have said Matt Ryan until today.
They're reworking his contract, so apparently they're making plans for him to be their guy for 22.
I think Tua Tagovailoa is in a little bit of limbo. I'm not sure if this new coaching staff is if it works as well for Tua.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not sure if they're going to try to wing it for a year and see what happens, or because he certainly played better as the year progressed last year after coming back. But I don't know that they think he's the guy. So there are a few teams out there who are either potentially in the market or definitely in the market, like Indianapolis.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay's in the market.
New Orleans.
New Orleans is probably in the market.
I don't know that they should be, but I think they are.
Well, I think they have to be with the fact that you're not going to get Jameis back for week 1.
Are you not?
I mean, he tore his ACL and his MCL. Maybe. It was pretty late in the year, though. What was it, like week 15?
No, it wasn't that late.
14?
No, it wasn't that late.
Maybe
no,
not.
They played without him. They played without him longer than they played with him.
Well, if that's the case, then he may be back for week 1.
I think he's expected back week 8.
Okay. Well, yeah, he could probably be back for that then. Yeah, but I think they are potentially in the market.
I think they are. I feel like he did enough when he was in there to be the guy, but new coaching staff.
There's the thing is, was that a product of Sean Payton? Was it a product? Because again, was Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay a product of that coaching staff and the surrounding players? Because he didn't have Rob Gronkowski and and Godwin and all those great.
I think at the end he was a product of the coaching staff.
Sure. I think he was trying to do too much.
Well, I think Bruce Arians was trying to have him do too much.
Yeah.
For a still young quarterback, really.
So Pittsburgh and Indianapolis are definitely in the quarterback market.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the quarterbacks that they are most likely to try to get?
Well, I mean, you mentioned Deshaun Watson. I think if this off-field situation gets clarified to people's satisfaction, I think he's got to be the number 1 guy on everybody's list.
Everybody. And he doesn't, I say he doesn't want to be in Houston at this point. He doesn't want to be in Houston. Houston doesn't want him. I mean, he's moving on. If it's not him,
or maybe it's just wishful thinking on our part as Titans fans.
If he's not, and they're not going to trade him to Indianapolis.
No,
they're going to put
play him twice a year.
They're not going to play him twice a year. So he ends up certainly somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But if not Deshaun Watson, who? Because Kyler Murray is not a fit in Pittsburgh.
No,
it's not their style.
No, not at all.
It's not what you're going to see from a Mike Tomlin team.
No. Again, and it comes back to the point that we made a couple of days ago. There are not 32 starting quarterbacks.
Is Taylor Heineke an option for somebody?
If he's not, he should be.
Should have been an option for Washington.
You got to expect that they're going to play Wentz.
Yeah.
So if you are Arizona or Carolina specifically, yeah. he seems like he'd be a good option.
Carolina apparently has Christian McCaffrey on the trading block.
Well,
or they're listening to.
I would. He's on the trading block for my fantasy team. I can tell you that because he's killed me the last 2 years. I mean, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's. I mean, it all comes back to it's a quarterback-driven league.
It is a quarterback-driven league, and we are in
and there aren't enough good ones to go around.
There you go. That's the biggest issue. There aren't enough good ones to go around. So, all right, that's going to do it for today's show. This week's shows, as a matter of fact, Cookeville has come back. Farragut leads 38-34 with a minute to go in the third quarter.
Farragut and Bearden have played 3 times this year. Bearden has won 2 of them, including 4 times. Most recently, Bearden won 74-40 in the region championship, the Region 2-4A championship. So they split during the regular season. Farragut won the district championship. Bearden won the region championship.
There you go.
We could get part 5 tomorrow.
We could, but Cookeville doing all they can to prevent it.
Absolutely.
UAB leads Middle Tennessee State 50-47, 9:34 to go in the second. So, how about them Raiders?
Keep an eye on that. What's happening with if this is up to date, hang on. Come on.
I've got it.
Come on, spinny wheel.
58-42 Arkansas with 7:48 to go. So there you go.
There we go.
Go see some college baseball this weekend if you can. Probably Sunday will be your best bet because it's going to be a little bit warmer. But other than that, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Justin, well done, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. Hi, I kind of got my hat all messed up, but
hey, it's all right. We're
going to be a part of
it.
it.
Did a great job wearing the Titans gear. Gotta love it.
Have to represent,
Oh, we certainly understand. I mean, Mo's wearing his Brave stuff today. I wore mine earlier this week. We get it. We represent any time we can. Thank you for taking your time on this Friday afternoon for us and to help us out. You did a great job, and we appreciate it. Look forward to having you back sometime. So
likewise, it was fun, boys. Thank you,
Mo. About that time,
ladies and gentlemen. The weekend.